have no experience learning how to crochet and all of that kind of stuff. So it's probably a cool idea if I try to teach you a little bit, and then you can learn different things. So maybe in this video, I'm going to teach you how to write and well, or how to read and I guess write crochet patterns, if that makes sense. The only thing is I need a piece of paper, and I need to find something where I can find a piece of paper. So give me a chance to find something, and then I'll be there. Give me a sec, guys. I will find a book or something I can write on so that we can learn crochet together, learn to read, learn to write, all of those thingies, and then I'll be with you. So I'm just gonna check any of my boxes in case I have a piece of paper in here, which looks like I do. And we'll come out and we'll have a look and we will start writing together. How about that? This will be very fun. We can all learn how to do crochet together. It'll be so fun. Okay, here, I'll pull out a piece of paper right here. So here's a piece of paper. Now I'm gonna find a pen. Oops, I thought we'd have people on already, but I don't think we do, which is more than fine. Okay, so we're going to learn how to crochet together. I'm going to teach you how to write certain things. I'm going to teach you what they are, and we're just going to have fun with crochet together, okay? So let us begin. I may as well use a light colored yarn as well to help you see all of this. Otherwise, let me find any other yarn that I have, which would be easy to see in the in the camera. So I guess gray yarn will probably be nice to see. Okay, we are ready to go. So let us do this now. Let us begin. So first of all, for those of you who do not know, crochet is a technique where you're using one hook and you are making stitches with that hook. So here is a typical type of hook that you use with crochet. Now, sometimes you might have a case that you buy where you've got sizes from like very tiny, probably like 0.5, maybe even 0.3, all the way increasing by certain increments, and then you get up to a 1.9 here, and then on the other side you can go all the way up to I think a 6mm hook. And these are what the hooks look like, just showing you here. So this is the hook, and it's a hook because you can see it really does have this hook-like appearance. So that's why we call them hooks for crochet. Now the thing is, these hooks can get really big as well. So you might be using such tiny hooks for things like micro crochet. And micro crochet would be some of the things that I've been doing to create certain things like this, with like earrings or little pendants or things like that. That's what you use micro crochet for, and you use really tiny hooks to do that. So even the hook that I'm using right now is something that I would use for micro crochet, and this is a 0.9mm hook. Now when you start getting bigger and bigger, so even up to a 1.9mm hook right now, you can make things like this big. You can see it's a little bit bigger, right? And you're using a thicker yarn as well. So this here is a 4-ply yarn. And what do I mean by ply? Well, when we talk about yarn, and I hope this is going to help you learn how to crochet, refer to this video back when it's published as well. But when we talk about yarn, especially with cotton yarn, I wonder if you can see this, but there are strands within this cotton yarn, if you can see that. Hello, everyone. Hey, Paul. Hey, Laden. Hey, Haley. Lovely to have you here. I'm just trying to teach you guys how to crochet and teaching you a little bit about everything I know about crochet here, and we'll slowly increase our knowledge as well. So with cotton yarn, this is what I'm showing you. I have 4-ply cotton yarn, and that means if you can see these strands here, there should be 4 strands in total to make up 4-ply cotton yarn. 4-ply. Now, with that, in saying that, you can get things like 8-ply. So that means you'd have 8 strands. If you had 6-ply, it would be 6 strands. If you had 5-ply, it would be 5 strands. So you can see you get higher and higher which means the yarn gets thicker and thicker. And when your yarn gets thicker, you need to use a thicker hook or a bigger hook size as well. So with 4-ply cotton yarn that I use, I can use actually a maximum, maybe I can write this down here as well. So some of the things that I know for 4-ply cotton yarn, and I'll put it this way so you guys can see it. So for 4-ply cotton yarn, you can use a hook size anywhere, probably from 1.5 millimeters all the way up until, I would say, and I would suggest, a 3.5 millimeter hook. Now, I wouldn't go above 3.5 and I wouldn't go below 1.5. This is just me, my opinion personally. And so the reason is because once you start going above greater than this, greater than 3.5, you're going to have very, let's say, whole, like many holes or holy stitches. Not holy as in, I guess, gospel holy, but holy as in like there's spaces between your stitches. And if you're below 1.5, you'll find that your hook can't even grab the 4-ply. So it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You just will have so much trouble. It won't work. You won't be able to grab onto all those strands of yarn. I'm 32 years old, by the way. Hey, crochet lover. How are you? So I'm just trying to help you learn how to crochet here and just teaching you a little bit of the basics as well. Now, this 4-ply is usually talking about cotton yarn. When we talk about acrylic, it's a little bit different because, well, it kind of is. It's not what's the word? It's not it is synthetic, is what I'm saying. It doesn't come naturally, so people like. It's not a great yarn to use, just my opinion. I don't really enjoy the feel of it. I don't really like the look of it. It's a different type of yarn, and you could still use the same hooks, but it's a little bit different at the same time. So we'll just stick with the cotton yarn because probably that's the easiest. But when you're using things like a 6 millimeter hook all the way up to 10 millimeter hooks, this is where you'd have probably like the plushy style yarn. What are you making? Nothing yet. I'm just teaching you how to crochet, and I'm giving you a few basics as well. So if you've heard of what type of yarns are there, just trying to think. I know there are some. I just haven't bought them in a long time. But there are thicker yarn strands. They're like this big, honestly. Chunky yarn. So there's chunky yarn over here. And a few other ones. I can't remember them off the top of my head right now. But like they're the normal ones that people usually buy when they're making these bigger plushies. And obviously, it's not referenced as 4-ply and stuff like that. They're just called chunky yarn and what have you. So that's what it is. So that's just a little bit of basics there. Now let's go even more into the basics. So we've talked about hooks. Okay, we've talked about hooks. Now let's talk about how to hold the hook. Okay, let's see how to hold the hook. I'm like, why am I writing that? Okay, anyways, yeah. OMG, I love your handwriting. Oh, you're so sweet. Actually, this is only one style of my handwriting. I have so many different styles. But thank you. I'm glad you think it looks good. So let's show you how to hold the hook. Here is my right hand, and I'm a right-handed crocheter, by the way. So I've never tried left-handed crochet, and I think that was a great video idea, and I'm going to try that at some point and show you my video for that. But here's my right hand. I'm sure most of you are right-handed. So sorry if you're left-handed, by the way. And what I'm going to show you is 2 different ways to hold the hook. Now the first, so here's my hook, by the way. Now the first way, and this is the most common way that people hold the hook, it's where they grab it and their hand goes over. So if you have a hook or just even a ball pen or just a pen or whatever, a pencil, just have a feel of that. Like that's how people normally hold a hook, especially when they're beginners and when they're doing, when they're working with chunkier yarn. So that is normally how people hold their hands. Now, it's an okay way. It's probably not the best way. And but it is still okay. Like you get used to it doing that. You're right-handed as well? Awesome. The only thing I would say about this way of holding your hook is that you can strain your wrist a little bit. So you, at least for me, I noticed that when I was crocheting with my right hand a lot, I kept hearing clicking around here, and I hated it. It didn't hurt, but it was just felt weird, like something like the knuckles or something rubbing up against the tendon and just like clicking all the time. And so this is the second way that people hold a hook, which I way more prefer. It's where the hand doesn't go over like this, it goes under. And their third finger is kind of the leading finger here, and it comes towards the back. And then you have the second finger and thumb that kind of are always together. So it looks like that. So it's a different style of holding the hook, and this is way nicer on the wrist. What are you making? Are you teaching? I'm teaching. I don't think I'm going to make anything today. I'm just going to teach a little bit today. So this way is way nicer on the wrist, can I just say? So if you can, it's up to you, but if you can somehow crochet this way, I highly recommend it. It may be awful at the beginning trying to change it. I know when I was trying to change it like this, it was not fun. But after about a day of just crocheting like this, I got used to it. After about 2 days, I really got used to it. After about a week, it was like natural. So these things are oh, that's sad. Oh, I'm so sorry. But but yes. So I would recommend that you change if you're just doing normal crochet and not chunky yarn crochet. Hold your hook this way and get used to it. You will get used to it very quickly. You may not like it at first, but after you do it for so long, you'll probably prefer this way, especially if you've got some weird tension in the wrist from doing it the other way that I showed you. I know, right? It was terrible, but after a week it was all right. Oh, fantastic. That's awesome. Great to hear. It was the exact same for me as well. You're holding it kind of like chopstick, looks more comfortable. Yeah. Yeah. I would say, yeah, it does actually remind me of a chopstick. Chopstick type hold. Totally. Um, okay, but it's not really natural. It might be natural for some people, but in general, when I see crochet beginners, they don't hold it like this at all. It's mostly this way. But I crochet now like this. So if you see me in videos, I always crochet like this. Like when I'm doing my tutorials, I'm always this way. Okay, so that's the hook. Now, with the opposite hand, and I'm saying opposite just because I know some of you may be left-handers. This is how we make or we hold the yarn in the left hand. And again, this is not the only way. I'm just teaching you one way and the way that I learned and the way that I've just stuck with, and it's totally fine. Guess what? Okay, I need to know, what is it? What is it? I have the suspense, my goodness. So I'm just about to teach quickly. I'm very curious, and like the next part that I have to teach has to go in one go. I can't break it up. What is it, crochet lover? Tell me. Tell everyone here, what is that? We're just waiting on you. We're waiting for you. Oh, congratulations. That's awesome news. Well done to you. Oh, fantastic. Good on you. That's not easy. Good job. Well done. Okay, I'm going to continue. So with here I'm using my left hand, and I'm going to wrap it from the inside of my fourth finger around up past the second or index finger, and then hold it with my third finger and thumb. And that's how I hold the yarn. That's always how I hold the yarn. So I'll show you once more just so you can see that again. So here is the fourth finger. I go from the inside, I wrap around the fourth finger, then around the second finger, and then I grab it with my third finger and thumb. You're going to try finishing the doll I haven't finished? Wonderful, that sounds good. You should do that. So again, I'm just going to show you one more time so you can see what this looks like. So you've got your fourth finger, you wrap the yarn around the fourth finger, around the second finger, but not all the way around, it just goes over, okay? And then you hold with your third finger and thumb. So that is how, and I kind of pull my fourth finger in, like pulling the trigger on a gun, and that kind of keeps it sturdy and stable. So that there is how I hold my yarn. Now we're going to learn how to do a single crochet stitch. Now, for those of you who don't know, single crochet, let's write it in full. Single crochet. Single crochet. Oh, why did I add a T there? Whoops. Just ignore that. It can be abbreviated to SC, okay? SC, and it's not in capitals either. It's just SC. Oh, look for your hook, go find it. So again, if you're reading any type of crochet patterns, if you see SC, it means single crochet. Single crochet. Now we need to know what is a single crochet, okay? So I'll just quickly make a magic ring. If you don't know how to make a magic ring, that's okay. Don't worry about it. But usually if you start a circular project or some type of amigurumi, you always start with a magic ring. If you're doing blankets and things like that, you have chains at the beginning. So here, this is my magic ring. You don't need to know how to do it at this point, but we're going to learn the single crochet stitch. So single crochet stitch is your hook will go into a stitch or into the magic ring, and it goes inside it, and then it pulls the yarn. So you pull the yarn like that, okay? And then you pull the yarn through the two stitches or the two loops on the hook. So let's do it again. So I could either go into a stitch, or here I'm going into my magic ring. You pull the yarn through, and then you pull the yarn through those two loops that are on the hook. That is a single crochet stitch. Let's do it again. The hook goes through the stitch or through the magic ring, it pulls the yarn back out, and then it pulls the yarn through everything. Again, let's do it again. So hook comes through, it pulls the yarn, you got two loops on the hook, and then you pull the yarn through those two loops. Let's do it a couple more times just so you get used to the idea of it. Never mind, you found your hook, fantastic. Well done. I'm going to pull the yarn again, and then pull the yarn through those two loops. That is a single crochet stitch. Again, single crochet. Last one, let's try it again. Pull the yarn through, and then pull the yarn through those two loops. That is called a single crochet stitch. It looks like this. It's abbreviated like this. Is it me or am I yapping too much? No problem at all. You can keep writing. So that's a single crochet stitch, guys, in case you didn't know. And we just showed it here for how to do it at the same time. Okay, so that is called a single crochet stitch. Now let's try and look at a slip stitch. Slip stitch. Okay, this is abbreviated to SL, ST. So if you see this in a pattern, SL.ST, it means slip stitch. And now I'm going to show you how to do a slip stitch. Let's just show you one. So we looked at how to do a single crochet stitch. Now we're going to look at how to do a slip stitch. We'll just do one slip stitch at this point. Okay, slip stitch, guys. I'm coming into my stitch, the next stitch, whatever it is. So I'm coming into that next stitch, and then I'm pulling the yarn through. See how I've got two loops on the hook, just like I did for single crochet? But this time we're not pulling the yarn through those two loops. This time we're pulling this loop into this loop. So watch this. Pull the first loop into the second. I know, it is night for me. It's 8:28. So that there, guys, is called a slip stitch. Slip stitch, and it's abbreviated to SL.ST. So I hope you saw that. Rewind the video if you didn't see it all that well. But that is called a slip stitch. It's nighttime for you as well. Oh. Okay, next one we're going to do is a chain. What does it mean to chain? So let's write chain. And the abbreviation for chain is, I'm sure you can guess it, CH. And I'll put CHX because X will, where X equals, I feel like I'm writing math. X equals a number, okay? So a number, where X equals a number. So, for example, if I wanted to just chain 1, I would say ch.1, chain 1. Okay, so that's how you write that. So in my case, if I'm chaining 1, you see I'm wrapping the yarn and I'm going to pull it through this loop, just like that. So I've chained 1. If I wanted to chain 2, then I'll wrap the yarn and pull it through the next loop on the hook. If I wanted to chain 3, then I'd chain 3. Wanted to chain 4, it would be 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're always pulling the yarn through the loop that's on the hook. No problem, crochet lover. So this is what you call chaining. Chain, chain, chain. Now I'm going to take all of that apart because we don't need that. And we're just going to chain 1. Okay, so just chain 1. Here I'm going to show you chain 1. Okay, so we've just chained 1 there. And we've written it like this, ch.x. That means chain and then a number. Now the next thing we're going to do is something called an increase. Increase. And we're going to do a few different types of increases actually. So the first one would just be if your pattern said increase, okay? If it just said increase, then this is what it would look like. Pull this hair, there was a hair stuck there. So an increase is where you go into the stitch and then you pull the yarn through and you make a regular single crochet stitch. But instead of moving on to my next stitch, you actually go back into the same stitch you were just in and you do another single crochet stitch. And those 2 single crochet stitches is an increase. Okay, so really it just means, and no one writes this in patterns, you're just expected to know what an increase means. It means 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch space. Okay, so that's really what an increase means, and you're supposed to know that by default. So if I had another increase, I'd go into the next stitch and make another, not 1, but 2 single crochet stitches. And so technically, since I've done 2 increases, and if that was the pattern, let's say I wanted to make all of these increases, I would say in a pattern that I would need to do 6 increase, okay? Or you could write it as increase, put them in square brackets, and say times by 6. Or you can even write it as increase, square brackets with the asterisk, which also means times by 6. So that's what an increase is, and you have the number before or timesing it as it's a square bracket, or asterisk also timesing it with the square brackets here. And so if I had 6 increases to do, that means in every stitch you have 2 single crochet stitches. So here's my 3rd increase, 1, 2, this is my 4th now increase, 1, 2 single crochet stitches. This is my 5th increase, 1 and 2, and here's my 6th increase, 1 and 2. Okay, now let's go back to slip stitch, slip stitch. So I'll come in the first stitch of the round, do a slip stitch. Remember, slip stitch is that first loop goes into the second. First goes into the second, and then if I chain how many? I'm going to chain 1. Here's CH, and then I'll have 1. Chain 1. Okay? So that there, we've just gone through a few of these things here, and we've learned about increases. Now, I'm not going to talk about decreases just yet. Hey, Fatima. Oh, you've been here before. I know you. The next thing we're going to do is learn about, what's next? Half, they're so cute. Thank you so much. Half double crochet. Half double crochet. What is the abbreviation for half double crochet? Does anyone know? Tell me the abbreviation. Guys, who knows the abbreviation for half double crochet? Write it in the chat if you know this. No one? I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, even guess if you think. 3, 2, a 1. No one is writing. Oh no. What's your favorite color? Well, that didn't really answer the question, but hey, look, we'll take it. So, the abbreviation, no one tried. That's okay. You guys are great learners, I guess. Abbreviation for half double crochet is, you could probably guess it, it's just HDC. So if you ever saw HDC in a pattern, it just means half double crochet. What is your favorite color? I love white. Yes, you can say white's not a color, black's not a color. Yep, I know. But I love white. I just love white. I really love white so much. There's something about white that I just love. Anyways, that's what it is. When I was younger, like a little girl, I loved the color yellow. And I think that was because do you remember those connector markers or connector pens? And you could get them in all different colors and you can connect them together and make like circles and guns and all that kind of stuff. But when I used to draw as a girl, like really young, and I would just draw on a piece of paper, I would always put lines of all the other different colors except yellow, and it just looked a bit ew. And then as soon as I drew a line of yellow right in the middle of it, it's like every other color just looked like it belonged. And so that's why yellow was my favorite color when I was young. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. Okay, so we are going to learn about half double crochet stitches here, so let's do that together. A half double crochet stitch is where you actually wrap the yarn. So this is the first time that you actually wrap the yarn here. And then you go inside the stitch after you've wrapped the yarn and you still pull yarn through the stitch, and it leaves you with 3 loops on the hook. Okay, so you'll have 3 loops on the hook. But at this point, this is where you'll pull the yarn through all 3 loops on the hook. Okay, and that's what you call a half double crochet. So let's do it again. We'll go into the next stitch here. Did you see that I wrapped the yarn? Because I did. Look, I wrapped the yarn for a half double crochet. You come in, you pull the yarn through, you have 3 loops on the hook, and then you're going to pull the yarn through all 3 loops on the hook. If you wanted to do a half double crochet increase, it would be written as, I'll put a comma here, okay? It would be written as half double crochet space increase. Okay, half double crochet increase instead of just increase, because increase by default means single crochet. But if you didn't want single crochet, then you have to specify what you wanted. Does that make sense? I really hope it does, guys. So in this case, it would be half double crochet increase. So I'll show you a half double crochet increase. It just means 2 half double crochet stitches inside 1 stitch. So let's do one. Wrap the yarn, come into the very next stitch, pull the yarn through. You've got 3 loops on the hook. You'll pull the yarn through all 3 loops on the hook. Now to do the increase, you'll wrap the yarn again. You'll go into the same, where did we go? You'll go into the same stitch space. You pull the yarn through, and then you pull the yarn through everything, all those loops on the hook. Okay, so that there is the increase, as you can see. At least I hope you can. Also, like I'm just showing you a different way to do it. Well, actually it's the same way, but I'm going to go into this space right here so that this is my increase, because it just looks better. Not only looks, but this is usually how patterns go anyway, even if you wanted to increase it. So here guys, I've just made a half double crochet increase. So let's do 1 half double crochet in the next stitch. So wrap the yarn, your hook goes in the next stitch, you pull the yarn through, and then you pull the yarn through every loop on the hook. And in the next one, let's do a half double crochet increase. This is what it will look like. You grab the yarn, you pull it through, you got 3 loops on the hook, you pull the yarn through everything, and you repeat. Go inside the same stitch, pull the yarn through, and then pull the yarn through everything. Okay, let's just do a regular half double crochet. So you've wrapped the yarn, next stitch, pull through and pull the yarn through all loops that were on the hook. Now let's do a half double crochet increase in the next stitch, and this will just be come in here, pull the yarn through, pull yarn through all loops on the hook, wrap the yarn, go into the same stitch, pull the yarn through, and then pull yarn through all loops on the stitch. In the next one, we'll just have a 1 half double crochet stitch. So here's the half double crochet stitch. And in the next one, we'll have the increase, half double crochet increase. So here's 1, and here's the second to make it a half double crochet increase. In the next, we'll just do a regular half double crochet stitch. Then we'll do an increase over half double crochet, so you call it half double crochet increase, HDC space INC. Then we'll do that one more time. So in the next space, we've got just a regular half double crochet stitch. And then in the next space, you will do the half double crochet increase. So going inside the same stitch, pulling through and pulling the yarn through. Now we need the slip stitch over here, slip stitch. So let's do the slip stitch, come into the chain space over here and pull the yarn through the other loop. And there we go. So that is all about half double crochet. All right, so we did half double crochet. Now I'm actually going to pull this apart so I can continue teaching, but not have to do so many. And I won't pull all of it apart either, but I'm just going to show you this. My mouth's kind of getting a bit dry as well. I feel like I need water. And I don't have water here, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're going to learn now about the double crochet. The double crochet stitch. And it is abbreviated to, can someone please guess what double crochet is abbreviated to? Please, someone in the chat, write what you think a double crochet is abbreviated to. I'll give you 10 seconds to answer this question. You might get a prize. No, you probably won't. I just want people in the chat. People write in the chat, what is a double crochet abbreviated to? What do you think? What could it possibly be? We'll give you 7 seconds. 6, a 5, a 4, a 3, 2, 1. No one's writing anything. Oh, guys, you gotta be into the chat. Okay, I'll tell you. It is abbreviated to DC. Double crochet. Double crochet. That's the abbreviation for a double crochet. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like. So we're going to grab our yarn and let's do a double crochet stitch. So just like with a half double crochet stitch, we wrap the yarn. So for a double crochet stitch, we also wrap the yarn. Then our hook goes inside, it pulls the yarn through. This is all like a half double crochet stitch at this point. But this next point is where it differs. So remember with the half double crochet, you pulled this yarn through all 3 loops on the hook. This time, you're going to pull the yarn only through 2 loops on the hook. So I pulled this through 2 loops that were on the hook. And now I'm going to pull this yarn again through the next 2 loops on the hook. And that is what you call a double crochet stitch. Let's do it again. So I'll come into the next stitch and I will wrap. I've already wrapped it. And this is the wrap portion right here. Then I pull the yarn through. And then I pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook. And then I pulled the yarn through again 2 loops on the hook. Now, if I was to do a double crochet increase, then it would be written as double crochet increase, like that. Double crochet increase. So let's do that. We've already made 1 double crochet here. If we want to do an increase, I'll wrap the yarn and I'll go into the same stitch space and then I'll pull the yarn through, and as normal, I'll pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook and then pull the yarn through again 2 loops on the hook. So that is a double crochet stitch. I'll show you again. Wrap the yarn, go into the next stitch, pull the yarn through, and then pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook, and then pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook again. Let's do it again. Wrap the yarn, come into the stitch, pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook, and then pull the yarn again through 2 loops on the hook. And if I wanted to do a double crochet increase, DCINC, I just make 2 double crochet stitches in the one stitch. So I'll do that right here. I'll come into the stitch, I'll pull the yarn through, I'll pull the yarn through 2, and I'll pull the yarn through 2, and now I've got, can you see it? You can see I've got 2 double crochet stitches all inside that one stitch, and that is what you call a DCINC, or a double crochet increase. All right, so we've done the double crochet stitch. What goes higher than a double crochet? It's a treble crochet. Treble crochet stitch. And you abbreviate it as TR. Treble crochet. All right, so I guess I'll show you a treble crochet. Do you remember with double crochet we wrapped the yarn only once? Same with half double crochet. But with treble crochet, you wrap the yarn twice. So look, 1 wrap, 2 wraps. Can you see? I've got 1 wrap here, 2 wraps. That's what you need to do for a treble crochet. You wrap the yarn twice. Then you pull the yarn through, and now you pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook. Then you pull it again through 2 loops on the hook, and then you pull it again through 2 loops on the hook. Can you see how it's taller? It's taller than the double crochet stitch, and that's what you want. Okay, so treble crochet stitch can be pretty tall. So let's do it again. You wrap twice for a treble crochet stitch. Once, twice. You come in the next stitch, you pull the yarn through, and then you pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook. You pull the yarn through again, 2 loops on the hook, and you pull the yarn through again, the last remaining 2 loops on the hook. Now, if you wanted a treble crochet increase, TRINC, treble crochet increase, this is what it looks like. You wrap the yarn twice and you make a treble crochet stitch as normal. Come into the new stitch, pull out the yarn, pull the yarn through 2 loops, pull the yarn through 2 loops, and pull the yarn through 2 loops. Then to make the increase, you do another treble crochet stitch, but it's in the same stitch. So you don't go into the new stitch, you go in the same stitch. And you pull the yarn through 2, you pull the yarn through 2, boom, and you pull the yarn through 2. Now, this is probably the best position for me to teach you the Pico stitch. Now, I don't know if many of you have heard this one before, but there's no real abbreviation to it except Pico and ST for stitch, Pico stitch. Okay, so this is the Pico stitch now that we're talking about. Let us learn the Pico stitch. Where do you use the Pico stitch? What's its purpose? It creates a point. So you might use it for a sunflower petal. Or like for example, here, look, I've made some sunflowers. And we have Pico stitches in these sunflowers to make each of these points in the petal. So to make a point, that's its purpose. That's a Pico stitch. So let us see what a Pico stitch does. So you may be asked first, before you complete the Pico stitch, to chain. And you might be asked to chain 2 or chain 1. So I'm just going to give an example here and chain 2. So I'm going to chain 1 and then 2. So I've chained 2 at this point. Now for the Pico stitch, you're not going inside the chains. You're not going inside any of these chains. But can you see where we finished off this treble crochet stitch? And here's the loop, the back loop of it. Or technically that would be the front loop, right? If it's facing me, that's the front loop. So I go inside that front loop, and then I also go down the side into this portion here. So it's like the side stitch. Okay, so I'll show you again. So I've chained, I don't go in the chains, I go into the front loop plus the side the side of that treble crochet stitch. Okay, so technically to do that Pico stitch, I've got 3 loops on the hook at this point. This is the Pico stitch, okay? So remember, it's the side that you go in. And then you pull the yarn through 2 of those loops, or through the sides. There's the side, okay? And then usually with that last loop, you pull this loop into this loop as like a slip stitch, just like that. And can you see the point? That's the point right there. That's the Pico stitch because it creates the point. And then you may be asked to chain another 2 or 3 to finish this off, and then go back into the same stitch and then a slip stitch. It doesn't really matter what the point is at this point. We're just learning about the Pico stitch, right? We're creating that point. Let's try a Pico stitch on top of a double crochet stitch. So let's make a double crochet stitch. I wrap the yarn, I go inside the next stitch, I pull the yarn through, and I pull the yarn through 2, and then I pull the yarn through 2. That's just a regular double crochet stitch. Then they might ask you to chain 1 this time. So there, I've chained 1. And now with that double crochet stitch, remember to make the Pico stitch, you come in the front loop of that double crochet. So not the chain, the front loop of that double crochet stitch plus the side. There's the side. Okay, so the front loop plus the side of it. You pull the yarn through those 2 loops, leave the one on the hook, and then pull that first one into the second as like a slip stitch. And there you have the point. That is called the Pico stitch. You may only need to chain 1, come back in into the same spot and perform a slip stitch as normal. You can see we've already got 2 different points here. These 2 were Pico stitches. So remember, Pico stitch. Pico stitch is the pointy stitch. Pico stitch is the pointy stitch. That's it. So that's the Pico stitch. Okay? Anything? No, we got no comments. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, the next thing we're going to learn is the puff stitch. The puff stitchy stitch. And there's no real abbreviation to it. It's just puff and then ST. Okay, so that's the puff stitch. Let's do the puff stitch. And here again in my sunflowers, I use puff stitches. So all of these in brown down here were puff stitches. So I'll show you that. I'll show you how to do it. Okay. So let us begin. In order to do a puff stitch, you want to wrap the yarn, go inside the stitch, pull the yarn through, and lift it up. And this will give us 3 loops on the hook, okay? But we don't stop there. We don't pull the yarn through either at this point. Instead, we wrap the yarn again. We go into the same stitch. We pull the yarn through, and we lift up. And now we have 5 loops on the hook. But again, we don't stop here, and we don't pull the yarn through all these loops. Not yet, anyway. We keep going. So let's keep going then. We're going to wrap the yarn again, go into the same stitch, and pull the yarn through and lift it up. And now we have 7 loops on this hook. And I am going to now pull this yarn through all 7 loops on my hook. So I'm going to pull it. I'm going to pull down here. I'm going to have an arc shape with the hook as I come up, so it kind of fits around and all of that. Did you see how it's like, this is how it looked on the outside. So if I pull, kind of like arced its way in. Again, just like that. One more. So I'm pulling the yarn through all of those loops, and I pull it like that. Okay? And then I just chain 1. And right there now is a puff stitch. Puff stitch right there. So that's a puff stitch. Let's do another puff stitch. Why not? So I'm going to grab the yarn, wrap it, come into this space here, and pull the yarn up. Okay? We got 3 loops on the hook. Let's wrap the yarn again, come into this stitch space, and pull the yarn up. Let's do it again. Wrap the yarn, come into the same stitch space, and pull the yarn up. So now we have 7 loops on the hook. I'm going to pull the yarn through all of those 7 loops on the hook, make an arc as you do so, and chain 1 to finish that off. And there's my second puff stitch. So there's a puff stitch, and you'll probably use this in granny squares and things like that. All right, now we could keep going, but I don't feel like we have anyone here. Is anyone in the chat? Is anyone interested? Write in the chat if you're here, so I can keep going. Otherwise, we might end it here because I'm not sure if you guys are interested. I'm really trying here though, but it just might be bad timing for everyone. Is anyone interested in learning these stitches right now? If not, we can do it at a different time. Guys, let me know if you're still interested. We've done how to hold the hook. We've learned a single crochet stitch. We've learned the abbreviations for all these stitches as well. We've done the slip stitch. We've done the chain. We've learned about increases. We've learned how to write it in patterns. We've done the half double crochet stitch or a half double crochet increase. We've done a double crochet stitch and a double crochet increase. We've done a treble crochet stitch and a treble crochet increase. We've done a Pico stitch, which creates the point of it like a sunflower petal or any petal. We've also done a puff stitch. Now, of course, we haven't done the bubble stitch. We haven't learned about the decrease. We haven't learned about color changes. And I'm sure there are other stitches that I'm not thinking of at this point, but maybe we should do this in a different live session when you guys are a little bit more, well, when you guys, I guess there's more people here and you guys are interested. Because I don't want to, like, it's kind of hard to teach if no one's really here, right? So we might do this at a different time, but at least we started, and I hope you guys will be able to rewind this once it's published, and you'll be able to go back and learn about all this stuff, which is cool. And we might do it in another live session, maybe tomorrow morning or something like that. So anyways, thanks guys. Appreciate all of you that are being here and the likes and all that kind of stuff, and thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy crocheting. I hope you've learned something, and I hope to see you next time. And please subscribe if you haven't already. So much to learn here on this channel. You guys are great. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys. Oh, you know what I just realized? Why is there comments here that I didn't see them? Wait, let me see. What's your favorite color? Hey, DC here, sorry, blah, blah, blah. School, wish me luck. Oh, good luck for school. I need to sleep. It's almost 4 a.m. Thank you for the lesson. Catch you again. You're very nice. Take care. Oh, that's very nice. Sandra, nice work. Crochet lover, you're back. Oh my gosh, didn't see any of this. Why? What is wrong with my phone? I love my doll. Oh, good job. No, I just came back. No, all right, bye. Hey, Jamal. Ah, guys, you're all here. I didn't see any of this chat stuff. Well, that sucks. I'll end this now anyway. There's not really any point for me to continue, but I'm so sad because I didn't see any of these chat messages as they were going. Like, what the heck? That's crazy. I don't know what's going on with my phone. Hi, Elizabeth. Oh, how come it says Jamal? No worries. Look at my Mickey Mouse, by the way. I'm about to finish this guy. That's my Mickey Mouse. I've got the red shorts to make, and I've got to finish this in the arms. But then I will finish Mickey Mouse, hopefully this week, and I'll show you at the end. Anyways, that's my Mickey Mouse, which is very cool. Guys, if you weren't here, I have just finished a strawberry. I know people asked me to make a strawberry, and I did this in today's live session. I made this strawberry and like came up with this pattern myself during the live. So if you want to make a strawberry, go check that out. Also, I've done a tutorial video of that, so I'll post that soon as well. And the strawberry was meant to be for my strawberry cow, which will come soon. I will finish this probably this week and show you guys my strawberry cow, and I'll have a pattern for it as well that you guys will be able to purchase off Etsy if you like it and want to create it yourself, but we'll see. Anyways, that's it, guys. You're awesome. So sorry I couldn't see your messages before. I don't know why it does that. It's kind of the worst thing ever. Sometimes it does that. It just cuts out for some reason. I can't see all of the chat messages, which really sucks. But I'll be on here tomorrow and I'll teach you all how to crochet again if you would like, which would be awesome. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy your evenings or your days or whatever they are. Love you guys. See ya.